Okay. All right. We are going to get started. Oh, we got people still coming in. Okay.
I be co-host and I'll watch the waiting room. That way
Okay.
you don't have to.
Okay, there you go. Okay. All right, we're going to get started. We are on phase 2, call number 2. But like we said last week, everybody's in phase 2. So welcome back, everybody. How did our first week of recruiting go? I want to know tonight who has a hot lead, a warm lead, a cold, like anybody that's full on cold. What were some of the conversations that you had this week with people? Don't be shy. Did anybody recruit this week by any chance? Woo.
I
I
did.
sent out requests, but nobody got back.
Okay. Denise raised her hand. So you got to recruit this week? Okay, let's do tell. Come on.
I did. I got one.
Awesome. How did that process go?
She was a host for a party,
Huh?
and she had a good party. And I was doing my ask. I think I was on about the 4th ask, and she said yes.
Yay. Did you have to do any screenshotting with your director, or were you able just to kind of handle the situation?
No, I didn't do any screenshotting.
Okay.
I was able to do it.
Awesome. Did she ask anything like really tricky or anything like that?
No, she didn't ask anything that I didn't know the
Good.
answer to. I don't think so.
Good. Awesome.
And I have another hot lead going on now that she's asking good questions, but so far I've been able to handle the questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to screenshot, because honestly, like we've said before in some of these kinds of trainings, sometimes it's literally just a matter of tweaking a couple of words.
Mhm.
And that's simply what it can be to get you to that next yes. Okay. Somebody
Okay.
else just said that they had a recruit this week too. Who was that?
It's me. I got one.
Lisa?
Yes.
Yay, girl. Sarah just went, what? Like, did that not come through yet, Sarah?
No. I haven't had a chance to even look at it because since I've been sick, I'm starting to feel better and I really haven't done much. So
good. But they're actually signed up?
No, I haven't got that far yet. So, but she's going to do it. So.
Okay, well, congratulations. So take us through the little bit of a process and what kind of conversations were had.
Well, she started doing a party last month and she ended up losing her job. So she stopped the party. So I turned it into my husband's party because it was halfway through. She was totally not going to do it. And then she texted me the other day and said, can I still join? And I said, absolutely. So I've got to get everything squared away. So Sarah, I'll get a hold of you. I just haven't had a moment.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
so we're all good.
That's the kinds of things, though, that we need to remember. We never know when this is going to be something that could be valuable to their life. You never know what's going to happen. And, she loses her job. This, whether it ends up taking her into a whole new career path or it's just an interim thing for her.
Yeah.
By for the meantime and then see what she thinks. You just never know what it's going to be for somebody. So that is amazing.
Yeah. And she has a new job. So she's going to try this though too. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There are so many people these days, especially, obviously we do know that there's tons and tons of jobs out there right now. We know that. However, people are looking for an extra income stream. That is for sure. So these are the types of jobs that sometimes, that's what people think about is they need something with flexibility, but still can make a nice chunk of money. That's That's where these jobs come into place. And, you know, it's our job to make sure that these people know that if you work your business, you can make a very good income with a job like this. It doesn't have to be just a, you know, passive little income. You can do well, even if it's just a part-time gig. So
Yeah.
it's information that needs to be gotten out there. Cause a lot of people, I mean, I've been doing this for 21 years, and a couple of summers ago when my brother and his wife moved into their house, they had a housewarming party. And one of his office workers that he's worked with for years, like I think I've known her for like 16 years or something. She was like, I was actually coming back from national conference. They live in Chicago suburb, and I drove right to their house from conference. And this woman was like, "Oh my God, you're still doing that? What do you do with all that product they pay you with?" Like, she legit for like 16 years thought I was getting paid in product. I'm like, Julie, like, I get a paycheck. I get lots of products, but like, I earn a paycheck. Like, she was like, she was shocked. Like, she had no clue. So some people are just absolutely clueless about jobs like this. So it's really our job to inform. It really is. So anybody else, how did we do on recruiting this week, or hot leads, warm leads? Cheryl.
Well, let me share really quick. And then I want to call somebody out that's being really quiet about it. But I had a lead on Friday, and she actually signed up on Friday, and she's here tonight. And it was she was in one of my virtual parties, and she was chatty in the virtual party. And so I kind of messaged her. We were kind of messaging and brought up like the fact of getting the air fryer at 50% off and yada, yada, yada. And she had, Dana, I don't remember exactly, but I think in the party somewhere she had put that she was a prior consultant. So I addressed that. You know, we had our party date kind of like when she wanted to have it. And I said, "Hey, I did see that you used to be a consultant." And anyway, so then I asked her who her upline, because I wanted to like make sure, like, I don't want to take anybody from anybody. I'm really like, I'm really worried about that. I don't want to never take anybody away from a consultant. But then I did research that consultant, and they're with a totally different company now. But I'm actually friends with that consultant on Facebook. So again, I wanted to make sure. But so I was pretty excited that, just back and forth, a little bit of conversation. Dana was actually pretty easy, but it was the last day of the month. And of course, I was very clear about, this is what the consultant special is this month. I don't know. I mean, we don't know what the next month's consultant special is. It can always be really like challenging at the end of the month when you don't know. So just be completely upfront, be honest about it. And so I'm very excited that Dana is on our team, and she is joining us tonight. But it was just one of those, just kind of having some casual conversation, paying attention. And, I just kind of brought it up. Basically it was like, have you ever thought about giving it a try again? We had never met prior to the party. And I didn't, I don't know if it had been like yesterday she got out of Pampered Chef or 10 years ago. I had no idea. So just kind of asking some questions and kind of having a conversation. And that's really pretty much how it ended up being. So I just wanted to like give her a shout out because she is on here tonight learning about recruiting. But if I may call out somebody, because I know they had a lead this week, and that's Melanie, because she's being super duper quiet. So Melanie, would you share a little bit about your lead with everybody and maybe where you're at now?
Okay, so I just had a guest in one of the parties that messaged me and wanted to know about joining and then potentially making her party into a launch party. So it started out, I guess, just with the having a simple party, but then she said, "Hey, what about being a consultant?" So I messaged her today. So we'll see. She hasn't gotten back with me tonight yet, but we'll see.
I was trying to unmute. Awesome. Awesome. I just want to say congratulations, because I hadn't talked to Melanie to find out where we're at now. So that's pretty awesome. So yay, congratulations.
I had a hot lead, but kind of fizzled out.
my host of a live party, and then she also had some online presence as well. I explained everything, I had asked her 2 times before her party had even gotten started. I had asked her initially if she wanted it to be her launch party. And she says, "Oh, no, no, no. I'm, due at the end of this month, and I just don't have, time for that with the new baby coming and everything." So she said no the first time. Then the second time, I said, "Well, we don't have any orders yet. I can still make this into your launch party. I think you'd be awesome at this. You've already done," she was doing an amazing job, in the online part. And she was just really good at we had her in-home party on a Monday, and I started her online on Tuesday because I wanted to have her take pictures of what we were doing live at her, in-home party. And then I told her to post them, and she did a fantastic job. And so I, came back with that. "Are you sure you don't want to make this your, you know, your launch party?" And she says, "Oh, no, no, no." So then we get to the $300 mark, and I said, "Hey, this will give you a kit credit. We could get you that kit. And, I really think that you could do this. You're going to be off, with the baby, and you can, do a little bit here and there." And I explained a little bit. She was asking me a whole bunch of questions and seemed like she was ready to jump in. And then she said no again. So I'm like, okay, there's three strikes. I wasn't going to stop. So again, her sales shot, way up there. And I had mentioned to her about the 1250 in sales, because she was asking me all these questions about, are there any minimums and blah, blah, blah. And I came back with the answers. And so she says, "Well, I'm at the 1250 now. Can I be done?" And I'm like, "What?" I said, "I don't think you understood that." So, sometimes the explanations really need to be really decisive, because she thought because she got to 1250 that this was now going to be her launch party, and that ship had sailed, because all the orders were practically through. They were all closed out, and so how can I hand that party off to her? I can't. So that's a question that I have. you know should I unlock every cart, and keep it from going until, I don't know. I just felt like such a traitor, in a sense, that she thought she could be the consultant when it hit 1250. And I didn't explain it to her that way at all. I think her pregnancy brain took it a little different.
Well,
But,
and you can
and I
unlock the
felt bad,
carts.
and
Yeah.
I explained it to her again, and she says, "Oh," and she understood it, but I kind of felt like I did wrong by her. And, I just, the misconception. And, I asked her again, I said, "But we can use part of your free towards your kit credit if you'd like to do this. And even if it's, 6 months from now, or whenever," I said, "that kit credit can be there for you to use." And she says, "Oh, no, no, never mind. I'm, and she went back to I'm busy with the baby." So, I mean, I'm not going to forget about her, because I think she was amazing, and I'm going to keep contacting her. But at the same time, I was like, how did that go wrong? You
Well,
know?
if I just may real quick, the only thing I think you could have done, which I mean, it's really hard to like, did I do this unless you're like literally reading off of a script. Maybe, and I don't know what you said. I mean, you probably said it, Deb. This isn't your first one. I mean, you've been around Pampered Chef as long. I
Right.
mean, I've known you my entire career with Pampered Chef nearly. So I think just maybe like reiterating, as soon as the orders come in, they process right away. They process overnight.
Yep.
So if you want to do this, we need to do it before your orders come in, because then they come over onto me. Somehow maybe to kind of say
Yeah.
that. And you probably said that. So don't beat yourself up over it.
Yeah,
She
I know I
probably,
did. I just think
Yeah.
that she just
she
heard,
didn't hear it.
she was half listening is what I think was
Yes.
happening.
Probably.
She heard 1250, and then when
Yeah.
she reached 1250, she was thinking, you know, oh, I'm a consultant now, you know, kind of thing. And that wasn't at all what I said.
Yeah. So
So
don't,
Deb,
yeah, don't
Deb,
beat yourself. Yeah. And you don't want
can
to
I,
go unlocking carts just because
no, can I
possibly.
say, can I
Yeah.
say something, Cheryl, quickly? I almost got in trouble with the unlocking carts because I had a host this week who I really thought was going to join. And she started her party the end of last week. And her first order was like $150. So we talked about it and she said, oh, I'll seriously think about it. Well, then the next order was from her boyfriend and it was like $80, $90. And so I said to her, knowing that she knew him, obviously, I said, you know what? I'm going to just unlock his cart and you can think about it. Well, days went on and I kept messaging her back and forth. And then, unbelievably, they broke up 2 nights ago. And here I have his cart. And I said, oh my gosh, I have to submit this right away. And she, she said, no, I don't think I can do it right now, which it was funny because I went back to her and I said, but you don't have a boyfriend now, so you've got extra time. So really you should be a consultant. I wasn't good enough and I'm still not. But anyway, when I went to submit his order, he had ordered something in the outlet and it had been taken out of his cart because they didn't have it anymore. It was the old coating trays and tool.
Oh,
So I said to her, you know what? I'm going to put in the new coating trays and I will just pay the difference. Because I thought, how can I go back to him and say, I unlocked this cart because your ex-girlfriend was going to join? And, he'd probably say, forget it. I don't want it at all. So
oh,
yeah, I get so Deb, I think, I was thinking the same way you were. Well, I'll leave it open, but that can go bad too. So I
yeah,
think
you
you
can
did the
do
right thing.
everything
And
right
she,
sometimes,
yes,
and it still just
right.
doesn't work. But you
Yeah.
know, it wasn't. It was a definite learning experience to be,
Yes.
had.
Okay. Anybody else have a hot, warm lead? Anything come up this week? Anybody? No? Hold on just a
I
second.
do not, Kel, but I'm just gonna pop in here quick because there's probably other people on here that feel very similar to me. Even though I'm at an advanced director level, I'm just gonna be transparent here and say I don't love recruiting. It's super scary for me. I do it, but I'm scared to death every single time I do it. And I've made a point to go back to asking every single host and not like prejudging, like, oh, I think they'd be good, or I don't think that they'd really want to, or I don't know. So I just seriously have been asking everybody, and nobody has been mad about it yet. Everybody has said, thank you so much for thinking of me, or thank you for asking, but I don't really think right now is the right time. And then I will still go into my other asks, but it's the original first ask before the party ever starts that is the one that scares me the most. So I literally have just been like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. It's just a question. And people have been so like responding so positively that it just like reconfirms everything that everybody is always telling us. But I know that there's probably other people on here that are very similar to me. So just wanted to say that.
Awesome. I had an interesting situation come up this week. I'll tell this quick and then we'll get started. Some of you may have had team members that have dropped off your team. And this is a wonderful opportunity to contact people. I don't know if anybody has that. I know some people have been here for a while, some people haven't, but this is the time that you pull out your guns and say, hey, Have you ever thought, about coming back? You could, simply do it for $25 this month. And I actually had one of my former team members contact me yesterday it was, and she said, I know I dropped off last year. She actually dropped off because she passed out a couple times and then got diagnosed with a brain tumor. It was a little crazy. And then after she had, I think, 2 different surgeries, then she ended up with blood clots. And so she just it was a really, really tough year for her. And so she contacts me and says, I have somebody that wants some knives. I know I don't, obviously I know that my ordering link isn't up I don't have a way to do that anymore. Can you help her? And I said, I can. However, you can rejoin for $25 this month, or if you want to do a party and we add it onto your party, you could join for free. And so we chatted back and forth a little bit last night, and this afternoon, her kit agreement came in. So you just never know. Yay. So yeah. And I don't know, because she's still got a lot going on. She just went back to work after being off for months and months. But I don't know her situation. I didn't go into super great detail. She might have a lot of extra bills right now. I don't know if she got paid while she was off of work, all that stuff. So it could be a good time for her right now. So I'm super glad that she decided just to give it a go again. So, but so don't forget about those people and asking them, especially on a month like this, it's a good time to do it. So talking about asking questions, that's what we're going to talk about next. So we're going to talk about questions that you can ask potential team members and encourage them to open up and chat a little bit more about the Pampered Chef opportunity. So here are some suggestions that we have of questions you can ask when you're having these conversations. And we are going to be pasting these into I'm a post or something, right, Cheryl, in the group probably. Yeah, I can't remember how we did it last. We've been kind of, doing things a little different each round. So this is going to go into the group. So here's some questions to ask. Number 1, have you ever considered doing something like Pampered Chef before? That one is a really good one. It's a really just basic question. Have you ever thought about doing something like this? I also like to end that with, or say, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, have you ever thought about doing something like this? Number 2 is, what intrigues you about the idea of doing Pampered Chef? Just trying to make them think a little bit with some of these questions. What concerns you about doing Pampered Chef? I'll even tell them, if I'm getting that kind of vibe from them, this is when I say, I want you to make a list of things that you have questions about. Do you have any other questions, or are you ready to go ahead and order your kit today? That is a huge one. Sometimes we vomit all over them with way too much information. Look at Sarah's going, yep. Sometimes we simply need to ask, do you need help on how to get started, or did you have more questions? Sometimes they simply just need to know how to go onto your website and join. You don't want to overwhelm them with too much. You can talk till you're blue in the face to them and then turn them right around and they're out the door. What if you got a kit today and we could help you line up some parties and you can have your first commission check by November 7th or whatever? What do you think? Following up with a question like that is, what do you think is always a good one. Here's a couple more. Have you seen the new consultant kits? That's a good one when you're kind of starting to chit chat, even in host coaching. That one's a good one. Would your hubby or partner or your support person support you in this? That's a good one. That can be a good one to ask too. What questions or concerns would they have? I'll even tell people, I'll say, make your list, talk with your partner, you guys make a list, and then, we can always set up a time to talk about it too. putting it this way too, if you had an extra $200 or $500 a month, what would you do with it? Anything fun? I do that at my live cooking shows. I do a game and they end up with cards that have dollar increments, $100 on them. And I'll say, what would you do with an extra $200 a month? Would you spend it? Would you blow it? Would you save it? What would you do with it? No, there's no wrong answer. And it really lets people see, at the cooking show, that everybody could do this for any reason. It doesn't have to be that you want to be home with your child or that you want to save for vacations. Anybody can do this. If I could help brainstorm ideas on how to come up with the money for the kit, would that be helpful? Because sometimes that's a concern. Make sure you're talking about the kit credit. If you have people in the past that the kit's been too expensive, this is a good month with it being $25 or basically free. Make sure you go back and look at your lead lists. What do you feel might be holding you back from just giving it a shot and seeing what happens? This is exactly what I said to Miss Sarah Cooter over here after we talked for 3 months about joining. And by the way, she was never going to recruit anybody or be a director, never. I like to always remind her of that. That's what I said to Sarah. She kept saying, I don't know, baseball season's going to start and I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, what do you have to lose? You have absolutely nothing to lose. Just give it a try. Right, Sarah?
I think she said the same thing to me. Remember, Sarah?
Because I told her to. It is. You don't have anything to lose.
No,
What I always said is you're going to either end up with a really nicely stocked kitchen or that in a job that you're going to love.
that's what she said.
Really win-win. She was right, Lisa, right? Okay. I think Cheryl, you're next.
I am next. So I love the questions, Kelly. And one of the things, guys, like it's all about asking people questions about, when they say no, sometimes we got to dig a little bit deeper. So we're going to talk about screenshots next. And so don't ever feel like you're alone in this. And, if somebody asks you a question and you don't know, the good thing about, if you're messaging or texting or emailing with somebody, that they don't know that you're on your phone or on your computer shooting questions over to your upline. So, use that. Don't sit there frozen like I'm sure we all have a time or two, because don't let a question stump you ever. Just don't. And don't let an answer stump you, because even if somebody has too much time, they don't have enough time, really kind of dig in to see and what has got their time and how much time do they think. But anyway, so let's talk about screenshots. So keep in mind when somebody gives you an objection, they're not saying no. Remember what I said about saying no. They're saying, tell me why I should, or I'm interested, but I have a fear that I need to overcome. So they're not actually saying that out loud, but that's what they're thinking, deep down. Like they want you to not necessarily talk them into that, but they want you to try to unpack what's holding them back. We live in this side gig, and I really hate that word because I never have viewed my Pampered Chef business as a side gig. But we live in a side gig economy, and many people are looking for some other means to put money into their household. And, especially with the holidays coming up, I mean, really, like, and it doesn't even have to be Christmas. We're talking Thanksgiving, Halloween. Do you know how much bags of candy are? They're insane. And like trying to put food on the table for Thanksgiving is going to be pretty expensive this year because the price of food for some reason just continues to go up. So many people are looking for something to bring in some extra income, and it is our job. It is our job as a consultant, not necessarily just to sell products, but to talk about the business. So it is our job to help them see if Pampered Chef would be a good fit. I believe that even if it's not for them, it's for them to at least try, because, honestly, you'll never know. They'll never know. And you never knew if you could do it unless you tried it, right? You can't just say, no, I'm not good at it. Case closed. So, right, Sarah? Right, Sarah? I'm never going to recruit. I'm not going to be good at it and I don't like doing it. But I mean, you've been recruiting. You recruited, I know earlier this year, like 7 people within a few months. So, you know, the most common concerns I get are, and this is honest, money and time. So we've got money taken care of this month, right? $25. $25. If somebody just had $200 in orders, they're joining for free. For free. I mean, there's like nothing else. Or they could probably scrape together, find change in their house and get the $25 to sign up. You just have to help them with ideas. You know, how can they get that $25? And then time, unpack where their time is going. Oh, they're at the ballpark. Well, but they're not. Okay, I'm saying that because I know Melanie's at the ballpark a lot. Melanie rocked out September and she's at the ballpark, I think, every single weekend. I'm just going to give her a little, she had $8,000 last month. She works a full-time job. She didn't have time when she signed up to do this, but she has found pockets of time. She's utilized posting services or scheduled posts to run her business. So time, you help them find how they can find pockets of time. So for time, I would say something like, I totally get it. I mean, I really understood time when I started Pampered Chef. But the beautiful thing about it, especially now, is the virtual, the scheduled post. A lot of things are done automatically and you just need to check in. You're not having to take 4 or 5 hours out of your evening to drive and go do a cooking show like we did 23 years ago. But you could absolutely, and you could shorten. We used to have long parties. You could really shorten those parties. But the beautiful thing about Pampered Chef is that it comes right alongside everything else you have going on in your life. We're all cooking. I took a couple of pictures of what I made the other night and posted on Facebook. I'm still getting responses back from it. So you can do Pampered Chef as little or as much as you would like. It is completely flexible. I mean, especially like you've got your little working computer that you've got stuck to your hip all the time anyway. So, you know, then you would want to follow up with a question like, if you had an extra $200 to $500 a month, what would you do with it? Would you do anything fun with it? Would it help to like, you know, pay for holiday expenses or household expenses? You know, something like that. Just ask them, you know, what would you do with an extra $200 to $500 a month? So now if money is the issue, you could say something like, oh my gosh, I totally know how that goes. Because when I signed up, it was $100. So it's a little harder to come by than $25. Yeah, right. $100 back then, $100. And we only had one kit. Now they have a variety of things. But $25, guys, when I say that's insane, it is insane. I know it can be hard to get the funds to order a kit. But really, guys, $25. Really emphasize $25. And if they're like, I'm just going to just stop for a second. If they're like, but there's no products that come with that, go to the Fast Track Rewards. Calculate how much those Fast Track Rewards. Calculate that stoneware set. Calculate that brownie bite pan. Calculate that stainless steel and then the knife block set. Total all that up. Yep. Oh, yeah. So I saw that earlier. A muffin pan is $25. The kit is $25. That's like a which would you choose post, muffin pan or this? But, you know, think about it. Like when you're talking to somebody about the money portion of it and you're talking about a kit that has no products, but then talk about what all they can earn in addition to their paycheck. They don't realize they can earn all those things. Again,
Ask goes to
25.
Starbucks 5 days a week and spends $5
Yeah.
on a cup of coffee. There's your
Well,
$20.
Tyler ran to Burger King on Sunday for work. Like he grabbed 3 burgers. One of them was a combo, and I don't know, burgers and fries. I don't know what all he got. But he was 3 people's meals. Guys, it was $38 at Burger King. At Burger King. I mean, and that was a combo and then 2 burgers. That was it. So he spent more at Burger King than it would cost for somebody to make $200 to $500 a month. So like, you know, put it down. Like if you need to like tally up all the Fast Track Rewards, tally them up, give them the dollar amount. I'm very big about sharing the value of things, the money portion. It's the accountant in me. But also, not only that they're going to earn the fast track awards, but okay, what's today? Today's the 10th. If they signed up today, they could have a paycheck by the 21st. That is in 11 days. Do you know if you went to work for a corporate, it's sometimes going to take 2 weeks before you're going to get your first paycheck? And you're only going to get paid what they're going to pay you per hour. They're in control of what you're going to make instead of you being in control of it. So yeah, and think about it and calculate how many paydays are there before Christmas. So 2 in December, 2 in November, and then there's 1 left in October. So that's 5 paydays before Christmas. Between now and Christmas, 5 paydays. How could that help somebody else? Even if they're like, say, $500 a month, that's $1,500. I mean, that's pretty huge. Really like let people know. Kelly was saying earlier that somebody that for however many years it was that they thought she was only getting paid in food choppers and mini spatulas and stoneware. I mean, that was it. She didn't realize that Kelly was getting actually a commission check, able to put gas in her car and groceries on the table and, kids through college or whatever. So back to this, but you can literally have a paycheck in a couple of weeks, actually in 11 days if they started now. So do you know anyone that might be willing to, maybe this is a question to ask them, if they're like low on funds, do you know anybody that would be willing to invest? Do you have a parent? Do you have a sibling, a spouse, a BFF, to give you the $25 to get you started? Think about that. Maybe do you have anything in your, I mean, how easy is it to sell something on Facebook anymore? You just say, you do a post that says closet clean out and you get 50 people with eyeballs because they're wanting to see it. So you could simply, and it's easier now than ever. So you could simply throw some things together. You can open your closet up, sell a couple of items that you haven't worn in 3 years, and you've got your kit covered. Even like hair products that you don't use anymore, you got hairspray and you're like, oh, I never used it. You could sell it for a couple of dollars. You just never know. But anybody that would be invested, check in your closet, your garage, whatever, to help get you started. Maybe your birthday's rolling around, or Christmas is rolling around. You could say, hey, as an early birthday present or an early Christmas gift. And when you tell somebody, especially that's close to you, a parent, a sibling, aunt, whatever, cousin, and you tell them what you've got going on and why you need that money and that you're willing to, refund, give back their investment once you get it, really let your passion show through, they're going to want to invest in you. So, what about, I said this already, what about the idea of it's a spring cleaning, but what about the idea of some fall cleaning out? Like I said, Facebook groups and things like that. So if you could talk to them about why they would want to give it a try and get them dreaming, if they're kind of like on the fence, find out, what would be so exciting about it? Why they're, what are they excited about? Maybe it's a product, maybe it's to, pay for Christmas, maybe it's to save up for college. There's lots of seniors. I don't know about you guys, but in my Facebook feed, I'm seeing just nearly every student that I'm friends with, their parent on Facebook, they're posting senior pictures. So guess what's coming up next fall for those senior parents? I've already put mine through college, and I know Tyler's done his girls through college. So those parents, those parents that are posting senior Saturday and senior Sunday, you might want to check with them because they might need some college tuition funds, stuff like that. But get them to start dreaming about why they would want to start doing Pampered Chef or what they would be excited about. And that'll help. They're going to tell you why they love it, and that's going to give you I don't want to say leverage. That sounds like a really terrible, but that's going to give you the help to talk to them about how to overcome their obstacle of holding themselves back from giving Pampered Chef a try for only $25. I keep saying $25. So the key is to guide the conversation and ask more questions. How many of you stop when they say, no, I don't have time? Nobody stops when somebody says, no, I don't have time. Well, y'all are good. You're learning. So you keep asking questions, right? We got some bobbleheads going on here. Bobbleheads, bobbleheads. No bobbleheads? Okay. So you either are stopping when they say they don't have time or you're not stopping. Which one is it? I'm gonna start calling somebody out. Are you stopping or no? Okay. I'll
Cheryl,
write your names down and call you out.
Cheryl.
Yeah, Jill.
So I know that you said if they say don't have time, keep asking. What are the actual words you would use? Like, and then you said, like find out what's keeping them busy. Is there some specific actual wording that you use to like find out what they're busy with or to continue the conversation without just being like, oh, it'll be fine. You're not that busy. Because if they feel like they're busy, in their mind, they're busy. You know what I mean? Even if we don't think they're that busy. So
Well,
I'd
just
love to hear, and I bet everybody else would too, the
oh my
actual,
God.
what does that
Well, you
sound
need
like?
to give me these questions prior to this call. You got the
Cheryl,
script.
you do this every day, girl.
I can say
Yeah.
something really quick. What I usually
Mhm.
I
All right, good
one
girl.
thing I usually say is if I could help you with that, would that help with your decision? If I could explain to you some different ways that we have time savers in this business, like, and then I would go on to tell them things like Cint Share, Post My Party, that kind of stuff. So I usually say, if that's something I could help you understand a little bit more, would you be willing to chat more?
So
Okay,
yeah.
that sounds
And
great.
and I would say something to the effect of like, I would just simply kind of find out, well, oh my gosh, it sounds like you're busy. So tell me, so tell me a little bit about you. I don't know anything about you. Kind of something like that. I am totally, I'm not a very scripted person. So I've always been like this. I'm a fly by the seat of my pants and I try to think really fast on my feet. Which is, I should write these things down, but I just don't ever think about it. But oh my gosh, it sounds like you're busy, or tell me a little bit about what all do you got going on? Just try to like find out about them, not necessarily, well, tell me why do you think you're busy? But I may like at that moment go stalk their Facebook page really quick to kind of see to where I don't like say something that I would be eating shoe leather, like I don't want to say, whatever. So I might stalk them a little bit, but I might say, oh my gosh, so what all do you got? Tell me a little bit about what you do. That's always a good thing to kind of like ask. Anybody else got any suggestions on what they would say or have said?
Sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Y'all will get some ideas in the call to action, by the way, if you listen to the recording. But one of the things I say is life is busy these days, but that's the best part about this side gig again. You can do as much or as little as you want, depending on how much time you have. Could you use some extra income?
Yeah, that's a good one. Something else too that I say a lot. I mean, I do say this a lot. See, it takes me a few minutes for my brain to, when somebody asks me a direct question, I have to let my brain roll. So another thing that I would say, oh my gosh, I just lost it. Hold on a second. I kind of let them know, like, guys, you may not realize this, but when somebody signs up to sell Pampered Chef, they don't have to be like 120 miles per hour with their business. If they are like simply thinking about the business, they could simply be what we used to call a hobby consultant. There used to be like I don't know, it's probably still out there, but it's like 5 or 6 different aprons. You had your hobbyist, you had your part-timer, you had this, you had this, you had this, you had this. Somebody can simply be a consultant by being, dabbling in the business, and I throw that out there, well, okay, for example, Dana, she works a full-time job and she works crazy shift. Is she still on here somewhere? Probably. Yeah, there she is. And raises her grandbabies. So she's got some littles at home that she's taking care of. I know they're in ball because I've seen pictures of them at a ball field. And but I like to let people know that like you can do this at your leisure. If you wanted to just simply get the consultant discount, you could do that. If you want to earn a little bit here and there, you could do that. You know, if you like for the one that's pregnant, you know, you could simply take off and not work during your maternity time. And so I really kind of sometimes really go all out and tell them a little bit like they could simply remain a consultant by being active twice a year. Like literally, when somebody asks me, like, well, what do I need to be, you know, stay as a consultant? And I kind of give them both scenarios. They can remain as a consultant by submitting a $20 order every 6 months. Or if they want to like steadily grow their business, you know, submit $150 every month, you know. So I try to kind of feel out where they're at. And even though those ones I've said, you know, you could do $20 every 6 months, they've done way more than that $20. But a lot of times they think, man, I have to meet minimums every single month. Yeah, we would love for them to be active every single month. We want them to hit all their fast track rewards. But if it's a choice between them walking out this door and into that door, and you throw out, well, you've got to sell 1250 your first 30 days, and you got to do this, 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 and this, they're probably going to close the door. But if you say, you know what, you can do as little or as much as you want, like Donna was saying, you know, we could just start out and let's just see how it goes. And you're not losing out on anything because you're going to make more than $25. So, but I hope that helps. Did that answer? Did that sound good, guys? Did that help? All right. Okay. All right. I'm about done. I lost my place here. So, all right. So up to 90% of the people, I will say up to 150% of the people will say no the first, the second, and the third time that we ask them. That's the truth. So we have got something for you on that. And I'll get to that as soon as I do it. So they're going to say no the first time you ask them, the second time you ask them, and third time you ask them. I've had somebody say yes 5 seconds before I clicked the submit button on their party. I reached back out to them. I said, listen, I'm fixing to submit your party. And I laid the number. I'm a numbers person. I laid the numbers out. I found out what kit they would like if they decided, and I figured all their numbers out and laid it out to them. And I said, you could do this, and this is how much money you would save, and this, and this, and you got this many bookings, blah, 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 blah. And but right before I hit submit, they said yes. So, and it wasn't the first time or the second time or the third time. It was probably like the 7th time I asked them. But is it impossible to ask? It's important to ask multiple times. So don't get discouraged if you're not signing anybody yet, or you got somebody that's just kind of like, I don't know, or they're saying, no, ask me later. Continue to keep asking, because the most important thing for you to do is for you to get confident in asking. And the only way to do that is if you continue to do it, because the no's are going to be there, but the yeses are coming. And Donna, before you get onto your call to action, I just want to share, we have this, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but it's a Go for No tracker. It has rows of no's, and then at the end it says reward yourself. So we're going to give this to you guys. It's going to be in the call to action. There's going to be a link for you to print it off. Actually, it might be in the comments of the call to action, because I think that's where I'll need to put it. But print it off. And I'm not kidding. Use it. When somebody says no, get your highlighter and X through it. And write their name on it so you know who said no. So it's important. Write their name on it. When somebody else says no, do. And even if you ask the host again, do another X, write their name down. But track their no's. And when you get to 10 no's on that first row, reward yourself with some M&Ms or, a glass of wine or a trip to the ice cream shop or whatever gets you. And then just keep doing it, because next week, guys, you know how we had that booking screenshot for those of you that were in phase 1 or have done Elevate with us before. We're going to ask you guys to post your Go for No tracker. And all you gotta do is take a screenshot of it. Doesn't have to be fancy. Just take a picture of it. Bam. And we're gonna ask you to share that because we want to see a bunch of no's. So, okay, y'all good with that? All right, Donna, your turn.
Okay, my turn. I just got the call to action. So super quick, super easy. Continue sending recruiting messages, continue booking parties, and continue tracking both. And we're also going to have a recording for y'all to listen to. And this is a must listen to because it's awesome. Y'all are going to really get something out of it. It's Ellington Boyce and Becca Hahn, and it's the why and the how. So recruiting the why and the how. So you're really going to get a lot out of it. So be sure to listen to it and just pop it on if you're driving to work or putting your makeup on or getting ready for work, whatever you're doing, just pop it on, listen to it 15 minutes at a time if you have to, but definitely listen to it because you're really going to get a lot out of it. So it's one of my favorite recordings. So anyway, that's it. Any questions before we finish up and wrap up?
We got some things in the chat I was just seeing. So, so Tina, gosh, I can't see. So Tina said, what do you do when they say they don't do good at selling stuff and that they really need an income of $600 a week? Do y'all want me to answer that, or Donna or Kelly, Jill, anybody
Go
want to
for it.
grab that one?
Whoever has the answer first.
Well, okay. I definitely, selling is probably one of the things that I loathe the most. I'm a daughter of a car dealer, so I've never enjoyed watching I've always used the used car salesperson. And I don't think I could sell a car, but I wouldn't want to because I feel like, because that's a transaction. It's a transaction that ends. So as consultants, I don't feel like our transactions start and finish. I feel like that it's a continually process, like over and over again, because I'm helping people get products that they're going to use in their kitchen. So that's something that they're going to use over and over again. I'm helping people earn free products and discounts and things like that. That's what I love about Pampered Chef, is that when I'm talking with a host about a product, about hosting a show and all the rewards that they can get, I am helping her earn rewards. I'm not out there saying you need to buy this food chopper at $45 and you need this stone. I'm simply sharing how these products could benefit them, how that, things would, the benefits of them, not necessarily like posting benefits and stuff like that, but letting them see how, like, I haven't bought coffee creamer in years. I make my own. So, those are things, I know what's going in my food because I'm cooking it myself. I'm not having to go spend, the money at Burger King, $40 on things like that. So I really feel like that, yes, we are selling a product. But when I'm working, my goal is to find hosts that want to earn products for free and things like that. So my job, my loyalty is to my host and, post the product. So I'm not feeling like I'm selling to her friends or his friends, I guess, if that kind of makes sense. Donna, Kelly, Jill, Sarah, anybody want to elaborate on that or what you think?
Kelly's talking up a storm, but she's on mute.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
there's-
forgot I muted myself. One thing that I do say to people is that I honestly really don't ever feel like I'm selling anything because I really truly feel like the products sell themselves. And once you start talking about Pampered Chef with your friends, they're going to tell you what their favorite products are. But the other thing is that I truly feel like I'm bringing solutions to people, that I'm not selling them stuff, because we all need help. Our lives are busy. I was hoping COVID was going to help all that, but I feel like we're right back to where we were prior to COVID. Everybody's as busy as can be. and we all need help. It's just so much easier if you have the tools to make things simpler. So bringing people solutions is one thing I focus on.
Yeah, ditto to what Kelly said. I still don't think I'm a salesperson. I never have, never thought I was, and never have been, and don't want to be. So, but as far as the $600 a week, the sky's the limit with this kind of business. You can make whatever you need to make, want to make. You just gotta get in there and, get started and do the hustle. So the sky is definitely the limit, and I'm definitely can vouch for that. It's really been really amazing. So
The big thing is that you're not going to go know until you try.
Yeah.
It's true. You're not going to lose anything by trying. You really aren't.
So I see that, Tina, do you understand the kit credit? Does that because I will say the kit credit was so confusing for me years ago. And once I finally embraced it, I'm like, yes. So do you understand how that works? Kind of, sort of.
Sorta.
Okay. So let me I know Kelly explained. There may be other people on here that might not have seen the chat or may be a little confused with the kit credit. So the kit credit, we have a $25 and a $50 kit credit. And what it does is, for example, with a $200 party, this is going to be very confusing. So y'all hold on to the seat of your pants. So a $200 party, there is no free products. There's a 60% off, and then the 50% off, and then the 10% off, right? But Pampered Chef has been so gracious. They have let us have a $25 kit credit because on a $200 party. So there is no free product on a $200 party, but Pampered Chef's allowing us to be able to offer the $25 kit credit to the host. So with that being said, if you have a party that you're closing that is that's $299 and under, guys, here's a secret. Click the kit credit coupon and add it to their cart. The reason I'm saying that is then you can go back, you can easily say you've earned a kit credit. Just wanted to let you know that you can join for free if they want to give it a chance. Pampered Chef's not losing anything. It's a handful of catalogs. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's it. But even on a month that's not the $25 kit, go ahead and add that kit credit to every $200 party before you submit it. Just do it. Just do it. Because write it down so you know who you've got kit credits, and you can follow back up with them. Right, Donna? We do this, right?
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. So now with a $300, I don't have my catalog with me. $300 party, it's $25, right? It is, right? Okay. So at 50 is not $300. 400 is 50.
Yeah.
400 is 50. Yeah, 25 is, they've changed our free product for those of you that's new. So we're all trying to, we had it memorized for years. So a $300 party, they get $25 free, 250% off, so 60% off, and then a 10% off. Okay. So the free product at $300, if the host decides, yeah, I want to give the business a try and I want the kit credit coupon, then you would take that $25 free product. They would not get that. You would click the button and that $25 in free would then turn into the $25 kit credit coupon. So it's a little kind of confusing between those two amounts. Okay. So now they just won't get anything at 300 free, but they're going to get they can get the $25 kit credit if they choose to get it. If they don't choose to get the $25 kit credit, they can take $25 and spend on whatever they want. Now, $400 party, they can get a $50 kit credit or a $25 kit credit. The reason is because with a $400 party, they're going to get $50 and free product value. Okay. So at this point, they could choose a $50 kit credit or a $25 kit credit. So for example, if your person has a $400 party and they're like, man, I'm really thinking about the business, but I want to get the $25 kit. Just add the $25 kit credit, let them get the kit, then they can pick out $25 in free products with the remaining. So now any other, any other say like $700, and I'm just throwing this number out there, so don't get me. Say $700 party is $160 in free products. You would take, if they want a kit credit, then you would just subtract the amount of the kit credit in your mind. You don't have to do any paperwork. But if it's 160 in free and they want the $50 kit credit, then they're going to be able to choose $110 in free products. And you're going to click that $50 kit credit, and $50 is going to be earmarked for them for a kit. And they can use it on whatever kit. So back to the $25, even if it's a $200 show, you click that $25 kit credit, they will get $25 off of any kit. Any kit, the $25 kit, the $50 one, the $100 one, the $200 ones. It doesn't matter. They're going to get the amount of that kit credit off of whichever kit they choose. Same with the 50. You just don't want to apply a $50 kit credit to a $25 kit because they just lost that money. So did that just confuse everybody? And if you don't, if you have questions, ask them now. Okay, so Tina, did that make sense? Better, sort of, kind of? Okay, awesome. So here's something else, guys. If you're not offering the kit credit to every one of your hosts, if you're not offering that to them and telling them about the kit credit, you're not giving them all of the benefits as a host. You're telling about the free, you're telling about the 50, you're telling about the 60, but if you're not telling them about the kit credit that they can earn, then you're not giving them all the host rewards. So you're essentially kind of holding back. We don't want to do that, right?
Especially on a month like this.
Right.
It's a huge, huge ask this month, and tell it, share and or tell and share, or show and tell, basically. And just keep track of people too, of who you're doing kit credits on. It might be something that you can a year from now and go, hey, oh, and FYI, kit credits never expire. It might not be on there if they go to join. You may have to make a phone call to home office, but they are always available if they've done it at least once. The big thing about it is they have to use the same email that they had their party with, that the kit credit was on when they join. Which, I mean, our email it's Bible for pretty much everything nowadays.
I have a question, Cheryl. So you're talking about the, like, when they say no, and then you're kind of digging a little deeper. Are you actually doing that, like, even with their first ask? Or, like, do you kind of wait until, like, okay, well, your party's at 200, or, I mean, however you do your asks? I usually do, well, like I said, that first ask has always been super scary for me, unless there's somebody that I just know. Like, there are some people that I just know would be good consultants. I just feel it and I know it. And then I have no issues asking, and I have no issues doing like the rebuttal, and no, it's the ones that are like, I feel like maybe I don't know them as well, or they haven't really shown me any like interest or intrigue, I guess.
You just answered your own question. So you gotta go. Look, listen, you have to go with your gut. And I don't mean your gut is I'm scared, but you go with your gut. If you're in a conversation with somebody and you're like, I mean, like, kind of like me and Dana. I mean, we were just kind of in a conversation, and I thought, and I am a big asker, but I get scared. Like, I mean, just because I'm scared every day. I'm scared every day asking somebody. But you go with your gut, you ask, you kind of like read the room, so to speak. And I think that's really important because when you are going with your gut and you're reading the room, you're being authentic and you're talking to them specifically. You're not talking to you just understand what I'm saying. You're not like talking, you're not throwing it out there to everybody. You're directly talking to that person. You may have a list, go, oh my gosh, I want to recruit 10 people this month. They may be one of your 10, but you're not just kind of like throwing them a question. But if you've got like, yeah, that first question sometimes is that thrown question because you want to start out with, I don't know if you know this, but one of the benefits of hosting a show is you could actually host this as your party where you're going to earn both all of the rewards as a host, but also as the commission. And I'm still going to be running the party for you. So don't worry about that. I'm still going to do it. You're just going to get paid instead of me. What do you think about that? And then you read the room. You kind of see what they say. And, to make it not be about me and me recruiting somebody, that's why I threw out there, you're going to get the commission. You're going to do this. I'm going to do it anyway. So it really comes from a place of service. And so, yeah, if they kind of answer you back kind of like, no, I'm good. Read the room. How would it make you, how do you feel at this point? Do you feel like you should trespass into those dark waters, or do you feel like you need to lay back? Lay back. If you're feeling that, if you're feeling like, well, they're leading me, it's kind of like a date. Do you lean in for the kiss or do you wait for it?
Well, and
You
Sarah, we've talked about this before too. And this is, a good thing to remind you all of you guys about is that why is it our place to decide something for somebody? If we're not at least asking, we're not giving them the opportunity to say no to you.
Well, I think she's asking the first time, I think.
I
Yeah.
think too, it depends. If they just say, no, thanks, I'm good, I wouldn't continue pushing at that point. I'd wait till the next opportunity to bring it up. If they say, well,
Right.
I'm really busy right now, that's totally different because then there's like, if they give you a reason, like I'm busy or I'm whatever, you have something to work with. If they just say, no, thanks, I'm not going to say, why not? So then I would still ask again, but not in that moment. No problem. We're going to have a great party. Let's go. And then, that say when they get to the 200 or their guests are excited and you have another reason to bring it up again. But it kind of depends the reading the room based on what do they give you to work with. And if it's, so it's not there's no exact response because it depends on what they said,
And Sarah, you also said that you feel more comfortable with people that you know. Well, maybe getting to know the people that you don't know better would help with that because then you would know, right? So
Yeah, so that's
I
why, like,
think
typically if
that's
I recruit, it's in the party. The party's already happening. Then I see something that's going on, like
Yeah.
with Michelle, or I see what's happening, and then I'm
Right.
like,
And
"Girl, you're just
connecting,
made
and
for
that's-
this.
Right.
This would be great for you." It's that first ask. You haven't really done the party with them yet. There's not, if they were a rock star guest in the last party, right? Then there's something to go on. But it's usually
You could
just that first
also-
ask, which is
you
why
could
it's so
also-
scary for me.
You can also take that as a reason to maybe look at your host coaching and kind of say, should I be making that effort to get to know them better before the party so that I don't get to where I'm having a party with this person I don't know as much about as their random friend that I'm going to, come across, right? So, maybe either making a point of some additional messaging, not just about like the nuts and bolts of the party, but about them personally, or ideally get on the phone with them a week or two before and, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself and what's on your wish list and why. What's that quick cooker going to do in your kitchen? Sorry, multi-cooker, because your kids are really, busy with baseball. But if you're feeling like I don't know my host well enough to have something to have a conversation, maybe that's a sign that you want to back that up a little bit to getting to know your hosts a little bit better, to where you feel like you do have some common ground and connection with them enough to, open the door. to conversations.
Yeah, maybe even sending out that host survey.
Well, that's a great way to gather information, but it doesn't tell you like if their kids play ball or if they're having a baby next week, or, you know, if they
Yeah,
already
true.
sold something before and now they're scared because they had a bad experience. I mean, there are a lot of things that can be happening with people.
True.
And, you know, it's one of those things like when they say I'm not a salesperson, that's a lot of times a sign that they have tried something before and they feel like they can't do it because that experience told them you're not a salesperson. You know, so when you know those things, and that's the kind of stuff, it's not in a survey. It really is from some conversations, trying to plant some questions into, even if it was in Messenger, if you just can't get on the phone or whatever, you know, you can ask them about their wish list and then tell me a little bit more about that. Like, oh, it sounds like you're really busy. What kind of things do you have going on? That question doesn't have to only be in response to them saying, I'm too busy to be a consultant. You could, you know, you could ask that kind of thing before, or like Cheryl said, go on their website, go on their Facebook page and say, oh, I see you've got some little kids. That's great. Looks like they're in baseball. My kids are in baseball too, you know, or whatever that might be, so that you feel more connected. So you're going to feel more comfortable since, you know, like you said, you do when you have that insight into somebody, right? But they also are going to be feeling more connected to you. You know, I mean, so it really, it serves multiple purposes in terms of your level of just feeling like you have something to work with, and also them being more receptive to talking to you because they feel more comfortable with you too. Because if you feel more comfortable with them, then chances are they're feeling more comfortable with you too, right? Or like they're getting to know you a little bit in those conversations. So it, you know, I think could be helpful on both sides, you know, to kind of have that, all right, I need to connect with my host more before we even get to the party. And, you know, just make that a point of things. And I think some of the rest of it would sort of follow organically based on this over here by the time you get to maybe bringing up that idea of making a launch party.
See, you brought up a good point on why, what do you do when a person says they can't sell? You said is based on a possible bad experience. That's the same thing I'm trying to go through right now with the person. Is they want to be a stay-at-home mom, but they need at least that $600 a week income. She feels she's not a good salesperson because I don't know if she had been in 31 or if she had hosted a party for 31, but it was a total flop. And so she's like, I might be interested in a party, but I just don't feel like I'm a seller. So I don't know what to do to try to get this to turn around into a possible booking or a possible recruit. I just feel like I'm sitting there on the fence, straddled, going, I don't know which way to go. It could possibly go either way, but you know, like that 600 a week, I don't know how to get it to change. So I can tell her, you know, how to do it with me being new, you know, and not more experienced.
Maybe she just needs to have a party and see, especially a virtual party, right? Because I imagine virtual parties are more lucrative than your in-house parties because you have the opportunity of having so many more people attend, right? Maybe she just needs to see how successful her party can be. And then you could share with her, you know, what your commission would have been on the party. And if, you know, let's say your commission was $200 from that party, say you do 3 of these a week, right? There's your $600.
Another thing that was really good. Another thing to think about, you're gonna hear me say this until the 31st at like midnight. It's $25. So one of the things when I know we're over on time, so guys, anybody that needs to get off, if you've got like littles or anything like that, feel free. If you want to stick around, you can, because this is recorded up until the very end. But I just didn't want anybody to feel like, oh my gosh, because we're already like kind of almost 20 minutes over. But really quick, when we started, you know, a lot of us old school, not old in age, but when we started, before we sent our contract in, we had to write 6 names down of the host who we were going to be hosting with before we could mail our contract in, before we could get our kit. So maybe if she is like on the fence about it, help her go ahead and brainstorm besides her party. And I think that happens a lot when somebody's a new consultant. Like the only thing they're thinking about is their party. They're not thinking about, oh, Aunt Susie wants to have a party, and my best friend Jill wants to have a party, and this one wants to have a party. So maybe Tina, talk to her like, who else do you know that would love to get some free products? Because again, let's think about it. And I'm not saying $25 can be very hard to come by. I'm not saying it's just laying here on the table, but $25 is a really great opportunity to give something a try before the party. Because I love what you said, Michelle. I absolutely, give it a try, see if it's a good fit. Sometimes I feel really weird about that because it's like, what if their party was $1,700 and then you're like, crap, now I've got this party where I just cha-chinged on it, and I couldn't work with this person to help and some people you can't get them over the hump. You just can't. And it's okay to be like, I've done everything I can do. Like with Deb said earlier, I've done everything I can do. I just can't get her to really understand. But if you approach it with like, it's $25, it is a win-win, because really, honestly, they're going to get something with that, with that $25. They're going to get some sort of commission. I mean, and you're just going to make sure of it. Be like, okay, who do you know? Like maybe take a couple of days and reach out to your mom or your sister, or your aunt, your best friend, or your coworkers, and see who would like not necessarily to buy from you, but who would love free products. And that's a big gap that I think is happening these days. And when you're signing up new, who all can I get to buy from me, instead of, oh, I'm signing up new, who all can I bless with getting free products and discounts, and get those parties going. Maybe that new consultants party might be a flop, but all these people, I'm helping all these people get these things. As a new consultant, I can have a party whenever I want to, but I'm actually now helping Lucy and Julie and all these people. So when you get them out of their head and help them think who they can help.
And very often what holds them back is that confidence. Even if they say that it's time or money or something else, what it really comes down to a lot of time is they have confidence in the company and in the products. They love Pampered Chef. They know they're good products. It's themselves that they don't have confidence in. So if you work with them to talk to some people, even if they had 2 friends that said they'd have a party, that person can start feeling like they are a rock star because, oh my gosh, I've got 2 friends that would have a party. It's sort of like, and that can happen too in the middle of while they're hosting. If they have some friends that fill out the drawing slip and say they'd have a party with that host, and you message and say, hey, this is really fun. There's this question on the drawing slip, and you've got 3 people that said they'd have a party with you. How cool is that? If you know what I mean, that could make them go, wow, maybe this, because that's, I think, one of the biggest fears people have is, what if it doesn't work? What if nobody is interested? What if my friends think this is dumb? What if nobody buys anything and I'm a big failure? Because nobody wants to put themselves out there and take the chance on being a failure. You'll have those people who are like, yeah, I don't care, I'm going to go for it. But there are a lot of people that don't have that confidence, and it's the lack of confidence in themselves. So when you can help them, and sometimes it's a great party and they start to go, oh, my friends do love Pampered Chef, or it's the bookings or anything like that. But if it's a matter of, and again, especially this is important if they've had a previous experience that didn't go well, they come out of something like that. Sometimes they're out a lot of money. Depending on if they had to buy inventory, they can have a closet full of some skincare stuff that they don't, like they've got $1,000 worth of stuff, literally. And some of you guys have probably run into that too, where you talk to someone, they're like, no, I can't do this. Or my husband will kill me if I get into something else because I lost so much money on that, right? Or even if they didn't lose a bunch of money, they're embarrassed. They feel bad. They feel like that failure. They feel like, I'm never doing that again. Who wants to feel yucky like that? You can't blame them. If that was their previous experience, why would you sign up for that again? So we need to show them they can have a different experience. And even if that's something as simple as them having a couple of friends that say they'll have a party, that can be huge to somebody who's just really doesn't want to feel yucky again and take that risk. So yeah, money can be a thing, but it's not necessarily a money risk or a time risk. If you really kind of get to know them a little bit or where they're coming from, helping them to feel like, yes, you can do this, and your friends will respond, even in some small way, can, I think, really help people to be willing to go for it.
That was a big help. Thank you.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Are we good, you think, guys? We're like way over.
Yep.
today,
Good,
but
lots of
okay.
good conversations.
Good conversations. Yep. So we apologize for keeping you on so long, but like Cheryl just said, great info. So thank you for sticking.
The Q&A post is up there. I realized it wasn't up there earlier, but questions, even if they come off of this, or once this recording posts, put your questions underneath it. You know, if they're about this call, put your questions underneath this recording once it posts, and let us help you through it. Don't hold back. Don't hold on to these feelings, because, you know, if you're asking questions like Tina, questions that you're asking in the chat, that's helping other people, because I'm sure others are having the same questions. So if the questions pertain to this video, just pop it into the comments under this, or if it's some other random different questions, put them in that Q&A post. But we will have the call to action. I need to grab a bite to eat, so you might need to give me just a few minutes to get that done really quick, and I'll post the call to action and the questions that Kelly said earlier, and our Go for No tracker. And that'll all be in our call to action post. So, all right, and I'm finished. Kelly, Donna, anybody else got anything we need to
Nope.
say?
I think we're good. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.